Today is bodybuilding day. Come with me to the gym. Join me in my workout as I aim to build strong legs. This is an exercise I do at least once a week, and strong legs is one of the predictors of how well you will age. So join me even as I discuss the reasons we should all be lifting weights, whether at home or in the gym, and how this will help us. So why do I lift weights? And has bodybuilding made me look like a man? What do you think? Have you heard this one? I don't know whether you've ever been told, you're too old, you should not be going to the gym, you can hurt yourself. The number one reason I realized I needed to do was to build muscle. Because at the age of 51, when I was being sent home to lose weight by diet and exercise, I was diabetic. And I realized one of the things that I'm going to have to do in my life going forward is actually to build muscle. And the reason I wanted to build muscle was to prevent something called sarcopenia. If you haven't heard about sarcopenia, is the muscle loss. If you think of the typical grandmother, for the younger people watching me, because I know many of you young people watch me, or maybe my age mates, if you think of the age of your parents, the older people, they look like, I don't know what has happened. Their muscles are wasting away in sometimes some as early as 60, but mostly you will observe this in the 70s, 80s, and even 90s. So the sooner you do something about it, the longer you can delay this sarcopenia. I decided that I was going to go for it. And what exactly is sarcopenia is this muscle weight loss that happens as we grow older. And I know the young people are thinking that I'm talking to old people. No, I'm also talking to you. From the age of 30, you lose about 1% of your muscle mass every year. So you can see by the time you get to 60, you've lost maybe even 30%. And usually that's the time we really begin to notice this. Yeah, so sarcopenia is now officially recognized as a disease. And when you have sarcopenia, it eventually leads to loss of strength. And ultimately, you will find that you may end up disabled. It also leads to loss of independence. And you'll find that you may have to actually maybe move to a nursing home. In my part of the world, the nursing homes are not so many. Probably you'll have to be taken care of by your relatives, maybe your children in the home or outside the home. And you'll find that in general, your strength declines, you feel tired. Mostly in the 60s, 70s, definitely begin to notice it. And in the 80s, it is very apparent. So if you want to stop that, you need to prevent it now. So the young person watching this is not just for old people, you can do something. And this is not just for the small, thin-looking grandmothers or grandparents. You can still be obese and have sarcopenia. That your body has a lot of fat, but it has little muscle. That's why you find there are people who are fat or big, but they look like they have no strength. They're struggling even to move themselves. So that is sarcopenia. So it is not only for the thin ones, it is for anybody who can have sarcopenia. So another benefit of weight training is that it boosts your metabolism. Actually, at the time I was being diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 51, what happened was that I had not really changed a lot. But actually, the things I was eating, how much I was exercising in my 30s was not going to be able to carry me forward in my 50s. I needed to change. I needed to change somewhere. And you can reduce eating, but you cannot stop eating completely. And one thing you can do is to change the way you move, the way you exercise, and you can actually do so much for yourselves. And it's been found that muscle
Once you build muscle, even the day you are not exercising, it continues burning calories even at rest. So what am I saying? If you invest in weightlifting 2 or 3 times a week, it means for the other days of the week when you are resting, your muscle is burning more fat. So this is like a long-term investment. So you can't actually just train once and wait for another 2 weeks. So you can train maybe on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you can train Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, depending on what works for you. Or if you're stronger, you can actually weight lift every day. But if you are older, 2 or 3 times is like the bare minimum. So since your muscles continue burning calories even on the day you are not exercising, weightlifting will help you to maintain your weight, and it will help you to boost your metabolism. And we don't think about it much. Weightlifting also reduces belly fat. I know some will want to argue about this one. So the belly fat will not go away by doing sit-ups. Of course, primarily we'll have to change the way you eat. And then as you exercise the big muscles, especially your lower body muscles, the thighs, your back muscles, there is that overall effect on the body, which also burns belly fat. So if you have a bulging stomach or tummy, one of the ways you can counter that is to do weightlifting. So please don't focus on doing 100 sit-ups per day. Focus on your diet and focus on weight lifting. So another benefit of weightlifting is that it improves your self-image. One of the things I've talked about is that when I started now doing the traditional bodybuilding in 2023, one of the exercises I focused on was doing the deadlift, where you are attempting to lift weight from the ground to the waist level. And these just mimic everyday movements in your home. You're always lifting shopping, you're always lifting agricultural produce, you're always lifting a child if you're younger, you're always lifting one thing or the other. But being able to weight lift is one of those things that actually changed my posture. And I found for the first time in more than 5 years, I felt strong and upright. And really, this changed the way I feel about myself. It improved even my self-esteem. So I really feel confident about weightlifting, especially the deadlift. And in terms of getting a more positive body image, I actually could now walk with confidence. And I remember the first time I wore a high shoe in 5 years was after this weightlifting of the deadlift. And I remember I cried. It wasn't so high a shoe, it was just about 2 inches. But you know, for about 5 years, I was wearing just flat shoes and I would walk just like this. I really couldn't walk very straight. But you know, the confidence of wearing a high shoe and walking straight, you know, it gives you another confidence even when you enter a room. It's not like when you are struggling to crawl into a room like this and you enter a room full of people, you feel different about that. And one of the things that still surprises me up to this day is the joy I found in wearing clothes that fit my body. Because by the time I was being diagnosed with diabetes, I was actually wearing tent-like clothes. I mean, this thing is just some hollow thing to fit in because you're so big, your stomach is so big, even the waist, you cannot get a trouser that can fit you in a regular market. And I find that it was such a joy for me to be able to wear clothes that fit. I no longer have to hide my body in tent-like clothes. So for me, it is a joy. Weightlifting has given me that joy of getting a positive self-image and even improving my self-esteem and confidence. I really hope you can pick up the same. I believe it will do the same for you. There's so many other benefits of weightlifting. I usually find that the day I do weight training, when I come home, I sleep like a log. I know older people, as we grow older, we find that we are not actually being able to sleep so well. That's why you'll find many of us awake in the middle of the night. You're not able to do much. You maybe go to sleep for 2 hours, you're awake most of the night, and then you're tired during the day. On the day, I actually even do like legs. I can come home, sleep for an hour, wake up, and go back again to sleep at 10 p.m. and sleep until the next morning at 6 or 5 a.m. So weightlifting really improves the sleep, and one person who's really had to, I'm really one person who has enjoyed that benefit. I've talked about the issue of being able to wear a higher shoe, and this is because weightlifting improves your balance and coordination. And as your balance and coordination improves, it reduces your risk of falls. You know, when you fall, you can break something. So as you weightlift and reduce the risk of falls, you're also reducing the risk of getting these fractures, especially in your 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond. There are also just functional benefits of weightlifting. Like I've mentioned, lifting your shopping, cleaning your home is another benefit of weightlifting. As you do these things, you know, you do different positions in the gym and all that. And you'll find that now I can get under the bed and scrub and lift and arrange things on a shelf, lift them high. I don't need to ask for help to lift. Excuse me. I don't even need to ask for help to maybe remove something from a higher shelf. And now I don't fear when I step on a stool to get something from a high level that I will fall or I'll break something. So I really think weightlifting has really been beneficial. And one of the things I really want you to consider is, if you haven't started doing it, start doing it. I've talked much about maintaining your independence, and this is something I really want to emphasize. You know, when you maintain your independence and you're able to live in your own home, there's so many benefits. And one of the major benefits is the comfort, the privacy, and you'll find that you'll not burden your children with looking after you, or your grandchildren with looking after you. And remember, there's this of situation, yes, they may be doing it lovingly, but remember you're suffering. And usually when you have these kind of conditions, they linger for so long. You may actually find that they linger 5, 10, 20 years. Why not just live a comfortable life to the end?